Should be this one. All right, you guys can see my screen, yeah?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, cool. So, all right, so this was I believe the first game or the second. It was the first game you played last week against the Triforce guys. You ended up losing both games, but I wanted to look over this one in particular because I think there's more that you guys can take away from this game. And I kind of went through this game a little bit beforehand, so I'll just get into it. So first and foremost, when we look at like the team comp that you guys picked, like did you guys feel relatively good about your team comp? Were there any questions regarding it, or were you pretty comfortable understanding how your comp works?
I felt pretty confident with our comp initially.
Were there any issues that you maybe saw as the game wore on against them, or
Yes.
Yeah.
As the game wore on, we couldn't burst through the Swain healing or the Sona healing.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that when you look at the comps, the major flaw is you get greatly outscaled in this comp in basically every single role. Like Alawi stays relatively strong throughout the game, but Hecarim becomes really strong, Gangplank, and Ezreal Sona, and so they have a couple of ways to interrupt your Malzahar as well. So as the game wears on, it's going to become harder and harder, and that's kind of what happened this game when I looked through the report is you guys had an advantage in the mid game, and then you weren't able to transition it and close the game out. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that's fair to say.
Okay, so that actually gets echoed right here. So you had a lot of stuff going on bottom early in this game, which was really good. You had like a nice advantage, and then when the mid game came, you can see you had a nice advantage in terms of closing out this game, but then ultimately you pass 30 minutes, you hit 35 minutes, and all of a sudden, they're gonna become more likely to win the game. So that kind of just echoes that. Net kills, again, team fights start going poorly past 30. Okay, so we have to look at basically where this game went wrong. So where did this game go wrong? Let's see. So what am I watching here?
I think this
There's
was
a gank.
first gank.
Nah, first gank was before 11. First gank
Oh,
was.
yeah, that's true. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure what this one was.
That's just to play mid.
What's the
this-
minute? I know there was a team fight at 20 minutes, and that's pretty close
Yeah.
to that. And the team fight at 20 minutes went pretty poorly for us.
So this was. Hold on, I need to go to the mid laner's point of view for this.
Yeah, because I think this is when Hecarim might have ganked you.
Alright, so at this point in the game, like you're in a pretty good spot. You're up about 2,500 gold. Like it's looking relatively good right now. And it looks like you're just setting up. Bot lane's setting into back. And this is super greedy because okay, so you don't see their top laner. You have minimal vision. Our bot lane's backing, our jungler's backing. You don't see anyone. And although you have like a ward here and a ward here, they can just wrap around this way and you're gonna die. And I think that's what ends up happening.
That I believe so.
Yeah, because this guy, and the thing is too, like when you play against players at this skill level, like in a competitive game, like there's no way I'd ever see like Jensen and Bjergsen do this, for example. But at this level, like this guy's running up to fight you right now mid. This is like a 100% tell you're about to just get absolutely blasted by someone, or they're going to try to. And if you had backup, then you can take this fight. But because you don't have any backup, then you try all-inning him, and then a cavalry shows up. And they take the kill, and then they end up crushing down mid tower. You end up getting a couple kills back when they went over to that pink ward, but overall they had a massive net gain in gold here because they got a free kill, they broke mid tower, and so some of your control over the game starts to slip away at this point. So take away from that play, if you don't have control in your side lanes or you don't have people near you, if someone's running at you to fight you and you're definitely stronger than them, that should be a super telltale sign that something's up or they have no brain. But I'd like to give people benefit of the doubt, and I would say that it's probably a better idea just to run away at that point.
Hello, by the way. Sorry I was a little bit late.
Oh, no worries.
Alright.
So next thing was 3 minutes later. So what happens here? I end up killing 2 of you. So what? I have to go to the mid laner's point of view again. Give me 1 second.
You know, based on
Yeah, a
that
lot of
game,
stuff happened to get around you, like
Uh,
them focusing you down.
what really was the case is that a lot of stuff happened when I was dead because I was being dumb.
Yeah.
So let's see. Standing, Siver's taking tower bot. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know why you guys are stepping up here. Okay, so you're getting a free objective bottom, and is your mid tower still up? No, it's down. All right, so you can't really do anything right now because Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds. Siver's getting the tower bottom. It's super important to realize, like, if they're not reacting to this and there's no one here, you're in the danger zone in this lane. And so with this wave coming up, you can't actually step up with these melees. You just have to sit back, put your space aids on, and just try to clear that wave. Because what ends up happening is Sivir gets the tower uncontested for free, and that's fine. But by trying to contest this wave, like this is even where you're positioned now, this is all you can do. At this point, you can't step up anymore. Like we cannot be moving forward anymore because you've thrown down all you can. There's nothing you can do. Let Gangplank clear the wave, pull the wave back here, clear the wave safely here. By that time, Sivir can swing back middle, and then you can look for something.
Okay.
But you disrespect mid, like Braum goes really far up, and you guys are like walking up to try to do a fight when you don't have like Alawi or Sivir for some reason, and then I mean they're just gonna have more numbers than you. Like there's nothing they can really do. They have the interrupt for your ulti with Blue Smite or Hecarim knockback. They get you out. They get a couple kills. They get the dragon, and your advantage is basically nullified at this point. Even though Sivir is like super strong right now, like it doesn't really matter at this point because if they're slowing you down here, like they're slowing down your snowball of the game, there's not anything you're going to be able to do, if that makes sense. So if you're gonna take something away, like you have an advantage here, you're getting a tower bottom, just like back off, catch the next wave with Sivir, then you can force the fight on Dragon where you're 100% stronger. 5-on-5. Sivir has 6 kills. She's all your damage right now. So
Yeah.
you took a fight with none of your damage. So you being more aware, not only individually but as a team, of what fights are good and bad to take. That's even a problem, you know, on the highest level. I know on Cloud9 we have problems where we don't know when to take good fights. So I understand, like, it's not going to be something that's easy, but in this case, like, if you have a super fed player, it's always good to remember, like, you want to fight around that player. So if they're not there, that should be like a super red light to not pick this fight.
I'm pretty sure at this point I was on pretty big of a tilt. I was down pretty far from the gangplank.
I mean, to be fair, I kind of foolishly, in the vision that game, at that point, we only saw Gangplank and Swain, and we didn't have vision of anyone else.
At this
And
point,
I should have respected that we didn't have vision, but I thought I could force a quick like 3v2 pick, but their whole team was like right in the wings where we didn't see them. So that was also my fault.
What this would tell me at this point, like right here, she's hitting bottom and not being contested. No one's contesting top, and there's 2 people mid. So by process of elimination, what this tells me is one of 2 things is going to happen.
Yeah.
Either they're going to go to her or they're going to go here because they're not going to care about this. You have your ward on Barons. They can't sneak it. So just by like looking at this point, like as a jungler, like my instincts tell me like this is a bad play. All that should happen is people back off. So the way you can tell, or like if you can kind of gauge it, is just like they're not reacting to this, and there's no one here. So you know for a fact there's 3 people missing on the map, so you can't make this play. Until you have information of how many people are there, it's like super sketchy to make this play.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this. So, how How did you know
Oh,
that?
this. I remember this.
I
Oh,
don't,
uh,
so
I don't,
bad.
I don't know how you died.
Oh,
So,
this. Oh,
so Malzahar is dead. Okay, let's just Malzahar died.
which is also
Life,
my fault again.
life happened. There's no gangplank ult. I'm assuming something happened here. But here's the thing: why are we doing Baron? This is where the game ends. Like at 33 minutes, this game is donezo. So what was the thought process behind doing the Baron here?
I know we had just driven them off mid tower,
Okay.
and I think maybe we were looking at contesting it.
Okay. Uh, I mean,
it was a,
I'm
it
trying.
was
I'm trying to gauge the thought process just so I know like what's going through your head, so I can
Yeah.
I can answer this a little.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely a couple of days ago, so I'm trying to remember. I think what ended up happening, we were getting really annoyed sitting around mid, not doing anything, and we were trying to force them to like respond to us around the map. And so I think right before Malzahar died, we decided to try and like bait Baron and force a fight. But then I guess maybe we didn't like realize Malzahar died or something and just kept
No,
starting.
I remember. I think our thought no. If you look on the minimap, you can see dragons about to spawn. I think our thought process was they're probably sitting for dragon. Maybe we can rush down this baron before they finish dragon. I think that's what our
Okay.
thought process was.
All right. So little all over the place with terms of like what possibly is the reason, which is fine. I think the dragon one. Okay. So here's the thing. So let's assume Mal's is alive. You still can't do this. You'll still lose the game on this. So why are you gonna lose the game? Alties are coming up. This guy's really fed. We don't have really anything right now, and if we take Baron damage, we're gonna get absolutely screwed by Gangplank AoE. Like in a world where we assume all these ultimates are up, it doesn't matter because they have way more AoE. They have way better team fighting, and if Baron's ticking on any of you, you're just gonna get chain barreled and ulted, and you're gonna get either chunked out or you're just gonna die. And if you die, you're gonna lose Baron anyways. So if you want to set up Baron and if you want to make something happen on the map, look where your mid wave is right now. It's at your inhibitor. So the concept of mid control is something that's going to get brought up later on in some of the curriculum lessons. But one thing you have to always think about when you're going to Baron is where's my mid wave? And your mid wave's at your inhibitor. That means their mid wave's there. That means they have nothing to contest here, so they can go anywhere they want to. And when you talk about a Baron bait, like this is not enough deep vision to set up a Baron bait. How you set up a Baron bait is step one is this mid wave gets shoved. So this mid wave gets shoved like just past, basically past here. Once the mid wave's past here, they have to clear it. While they're clearing it, great. Let's pop some pinks. So you have one in the pit, you have one here, you have one here. Then you get a couple of trinket wards. You can pop them here, here. Throw one here. It doesn't matter, but you basically need 6 wards. And like these 3 wards, and you'd actually want to pop a pink outside the pit too to make sure there's no sneaky wards in like this area. But basically at this point, this is when you have control because they have to clear this wave. You get to go in, get all the vision, sweep them out, and then you can bait them, and they have to face check you at that point.
You know
When you
what?
get what's up?
There is like a huge wave bot on the minimap right now.
Yep.
I think we were thinking there's a huge wave bot. We may or may not have saw someone moving to clear it, or we assumed someone was going to clear it.
And
Yep.
And we
top
were
as
like,
well
top lane's
is
also
pushing
kind of
in.
pushing. So I think that was it. We saw the huge wave bot, and we thought that we could
Yeah.
like out rotate them real quick.
So this is good to identify that you see this wave, and I was going to get to that actually, which is perfect segue. Thank you. This is the good start. Like you have your bot wave shoved, and you have your side wave shoved, so they already have waves to react to. But until mid wave is shoved, they have to you always have to respect mid wave because if they don't clear mid wave, you can see where they're going. So they always have to clear the wave on the way. And what should happen is you come up with the next wave, you shove it all the way in, then you set up your line of vision. Because right now you have a ward here, a ward here, a ward here. You have one pink, you have one pink. So deciding to just force this Baron is just bad because you haven't set up for it at all. You're just like running at it. And what's going to happen in this case, because Mouse is dead, it's even worse because you're doing a Baron with 4 people against 5. Even if they have no ultimates, they have just an absolute crapload of AoE crowd control and AoE damage. And like you guys are like, should we do it? Should we not do it? Should we do it? And then like you like want to fight, and then the fight's over. He hits a barrel, and there's nothing you can do. You can try to save the fight. I think you kill Hecarim because Hecarim decides to suicide for some reason. But then after that, you're in this like weird spot. Also, Sivir for some reason went like up, which kind of just got her killed. But now you guys it's a doomed fight, and there's not really anything you can do to outplay this. They're just gonna chase you down. They're gonna get the damage on you, and at this point, like the rest of this game is just playing from behind against a better scaling comp. So you're in a pretty doomed spot. So if you're taking anything away from this, and you can actually see right now, like look where the mid wave is. It's literally sitting middle of the lane. If you're gonna try to set up a Baron bait, first off, make sure all 5 people are alive. Second off, always make sure your mid lane is shoved in, because when the mid lane is shoved in, it gives you time to set up the vision here. And when you set up the vision there, then you can do whatever you want in Baron. But you had 1 pink in your inventory. You had a pink here, which whoever's pink this is, it doesn't matter. Like it's an obsolete pink. It doesn't achieve anything. So there's no real setup, and you guys just wanted to kind of do something because it was getting like you're getting impatient. Like part of playing organized games is the games are definitely different. Like in solo queue, like I can smurf in like Diamond 2, Diamond 1, play Rengar, get 6 items, and kill everyone. That's fun. That's great. But then when you play against like scrims or tournaments or in any competitive setting at all, I can't just pick Rengar and build 6 damage items and kill everyone. So, well, maybe against bronze players. But the point being that the dynamic of the game changes when you play in a competitive area because these players are coordinated and they actually have arms. Whereas in solo queue, those players don't have arms, and that's what makes it difficult, right? Solo queue, you're playing with players who have no arms and like inhale paint, and then against these players, they're playing the game, so you have to take things slower. If it felt like you couldn't do anything, a lot of the time it's because when you had your advantages, you either picked a bad fight in these areas, and you didn't take care of this wave. Mm-hmm. And it's super important to remember whichever team, and if you ever want to watch a pro team that does this, just watch Bjergsen play. He'll literally just shove a wave and they'll just dive everyone. That's how they win games. And the reason they lost today against P1 is because Anori literally just came mid, chain killed him, and P1 had the control of mid the whole game. If you watch that game from a strategic standpoint, that's why the game was won and lost. So always make sure you take care of your mid lane, especially because it gives you information.
Actually, did not know you lost to P1 today. That's nice to know.
20, 30 minutes ago. Tragic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I don't care. That makes me laugh a bit.
Don't go all Reddit on me and tweet me about spoilers, please. That triggers me.
I don't care at all.
Alright, so as you can see in terms of like vision, like so for most of the game, like when you're in control you had vision, then just gone. Your vision just like disappears after the fight that we looked at, and then you kind of have it, but at this point, like we said, the game's doomed at this point. There is no comeback except them throwing. And so the vision overall, it was like you were in control, so you had the advantage in vision, so that was good. I think that's super important. You had a decent advantage, but obviously vision is obsolete if you end up falling behind, etc. And then the advantages don't mean as much. So let's look at the ward map. Okay. So, early game. Right, these are all pretty standard. Wait. If Wolf Spirit's
They were diving top a lot.
Yeah. I can see that top lane might have had a bit of
I did.
An XD of a time. Yeah.
It was awful. I know what I did wrong. Like I felt at least in the second game I did better because I did better warding to ward off those ganks from happening.
I mean, were you ever in a position to shove in this game?
I don't think I ever was because it got to the point where if I tried to shove in, Swain was right there to shove it right back.
So ward the wall or try.
He wasn't able to shove in until around 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I would set up if you're getting dove, by the way. These 3 wards. you have two wards here, then jungler can just put a pink here. Because if you put a pink down, you're just gonna lose your pink as a top laner if you're just getting like ass blasted, unfortunately.
Mm.
So it's better off you
Okay.
keep a ward in here. You can pink try if you can if you can hold the wave like here and you can like kind of defend this pink, then you can put it there. But if you're just playing off tower, then there's no reason for you to pink anything. You just pop the ward over. Maybe there's a pink here. Because if he has pressure, what he can do is he can just roam in and he can put like deep vision as well. So by at least having the wards here, you can see if their top laners like making a roam here or making a roam here, and it denies this play mid from top
Right.
where he just like loops around this way.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Tally, their jungler, spent roughly the first 15 minutes of the game camping top, and then the next 10 minutes of the game camping mid. It never actually went bottom. I'm assuming because our bottom was so far ahead.
yeah, he went bottom once, I believe, and you guys had a really good turnaround gank at like 7 or 8 minutes.
Okay.
And that's what got the huge advantage. But yeah, like the reason he came mid so much is just like because they had pressure top, and then they had like we couldn't really do anything with that wave. Then they just kept coming mid because mid lane kept overextending and trying to fight.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations where like you play to the side with pressure mid, so it's one of those where like okay, this guy's completely analed. Okay, then pink your strong side as a mid laner, put your pink there, and just play on this side of the lane. Like this side of the lane doesn't exist to you. Like
Now,
this is the corridor you get to play in.
so because it was
Okay.
because it was a heck room, I was trying to do that, but I was trying to get slightly deeper wards so I could see him coming. I think
mean,
I think those were getting removed though.
I don't think it matters with deep vision because if you pink here and you just clear waves, like the thing is, like you're playing against Hecarim and you're Malzahar, so one of two things is going to happen. You can't win that 2v2 because he has blue smite and gangplank orange. So A, he can cancel your ult, and B, you can't ult gangplank anyways.
Okay.
So it's already useless. Just trade the wave, like space aids the wave, and just run back to your tower, and then space aids the wave and run back to your tower, and space
Okay.
aids the wave and run back to your tower, and then once more, then you see a counter wave, you run up and space aids it, and then you run back to your tower. So
Okay.
like that's all you can do because this guy's getting popped right now, and there's pressure here. So the way this works is bot lane has an advantage. Great, let's send our jungler down there. Let's crush this tower. Let's take the dragon. Then we can send bot lane top. Then we can send the solo laner bottom. Then we can crush this tower out. Then we can get Rift Herald. Then we can just collapse mid and the game's over. That's like the most flowchart way to take your advantage bottom and close that game out.
So off that, it gets into why I'm becoming convinced that Malzahar was kind of a bad pick here. I'm pretty sure they baited me into it. They knew I would play him.
I think Miles is a bad pick.
Who do I ult
In this
on the
comp,
mid-game?
let's see. Seems pretty
Because
tragic.
I can't ult with Ezreal or Sona because they're too far back.
I mean, in this game, like your comp's not gonna 5v5 them after a certain amount of time, anyways. You're just gonna sit in a bush and then kill one of these three.
Okay.
Like you can't. Like I don't see a reality where you're just gonna flash on like Gangplank
No,
and be like,
yeah.
I got him, boys. So
No,
it's one of those where you have to just like you literally just like what you do is you look at the mini map, you call some of your friends over, you find a nice bush, you stand in that bush.
Okay.
And when they show up, you show them what's up and what neighborhood they're in. You know what I mean? Okay. All right.
That probably would have worked better because that would also give me time to set up tentacles and stuff like that
Yeah.
for a bush game.
Your comp was really good at and this wasn't mentioned by you guys, so that was my segue again. I'm getting good at these, but your comp is really good at baiting and setting things up and forcing. Like if they face check you, you will absolutely slaughter these people if you make them face check you. Because if they have to walk into your shit, then there's nothing they can do. But if you fight them straight on 5v5 or if they get the engage, you're going to get popped.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what happened over and over again. Because we didn't set up the Baron properly with the push in and the control and then like the face check, then there's nothing you can do. Because like you have Gragas ult to displace them. You have the flashes on your carries and Alawi. Like you can get on that backline and displace people into your like. There's no way, like, if you're sitting here and they face check you, Gragas can't E-flash alt a carry in and you just pop them. But because you didn't, like, utilize the pick portion of your comp, then Malzahar is, like, pretty useless because the comp got played wrong. It wasn't the champion.
Okay.
Champions are generally like the mindset of champions are ever an issue. Like okay, like for example, a couple of years ago, no one played Ziggs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I had probably played Ziggs every game it was possibly open. And that's because it doesn't matter about the champion if you're capable of playing around it. We
Okay.
used to do this thing where our AD carry on Tristana would flash in and ult the other AD carry so we could Yasuo ult. So and we beat Cloud9 with that. But the point is, it doesn't matter like the pick so long as you're able to play around it and understand how your picks beat their picks.
Okay.
And so that's how you look at this. Like, yeah, Malice isn't a great pick here. Like, Malice is not going to have a fun time. But how do you make it work in this game now that you're in this position?
Right.
So
Yeah, that
after
makes sense.
after that, the game was doomed. These three don't really matter. Early game, you're getting dove. Mid game, you're all over the place, which is fine. There's a lot of action. We looked at those fights. And late game, you're trying to set up Baron, then eventually you just kind of got BG'd because the game ended at the Baron play. You can see that there's an issue here where like none of your deep vision actually got beyond. So this is like their jungle entrances. You never got vision deeper than this, which is an issue. Like if you want to close a game out and you're ahead, you need to be able to get vision like up in this area because they have to walk through these areas to go anywhere. So wherever you're contesting, there needed to be deeper vision, and that only comes from having more map control.
Right.
Beyond that, none of these were too relevant. These are just related to the team fights, the actual damage. Laning. Go ahead.
About you might have talked about this before I got here, but like places where we like really started to lose our lead. I think one of the most like sad and like tilting plays we made was again we were getting really impatient mid, and we all went top and pushed like one turret. We got like a tier 1 top, and they got like a tier 2 mid. And then like half of us start recalling because they keep pushing.
And they got the inhibitor, right?
And then we like stop the recalls.
If you want to force fights in League of Legends in an organized team environment, you have two options. Option 1 is to play Sivir and Karma. Okay? That's option 1. Option 2, if you can't play Sivir and Karma, is to create enough pressure on the map that they have to come to you. And generally, there's two places they'll come to you. One of these guys, or this snake. These are the two areas they have to come to you eventually. Because if they don't come here, 35 minutes, well, you're going to get a free objective. And if they don't come here, well, you're going to get a free Nash. So to force in League of Legends in a competitive environment, you create the pressure, you set up the vision, and then you can force them to face check, or you can burn this. And if you burn this, then guess what? You just run at them, and you dive them like absolute animals. Because you have Baron, and your comp can do that with Baron and minions there. Like, that's easy. So that's how you force the fights. Because they're not going to fight you head on when Sivir has like 6 or 7 kills. Like, that's more of a solo queue thing. That's something that like Gosu does, and it triggers the crap out of me. Is when Gosu just like 0-5 Vayne just like goes in. So that's not going to happen in competitive. So the best way to do it is get vision control over an area and force a fight on your vision. That's super broad statement. There's a lot of variables. League of Legends has millions of variables, but if you're going to simplify it, get control of an area with vision and force them to fight you there. And these are the two best areas to do so.
Okay.
One other thing I wanted to ask before you move on was just about our comp. I personally didn't really like our comp too much because I felt that we just didn't have enough damage because we had all like really kind of bruiser type champions from top jungle and mid, and I feel like we just really didn't have any damage to make picks outside of Sivir, but Sivir couldn't like 1v5 all of them.
You have so much damage at 2 items. This is a win at 2 items. This is a win at 2 items. This is a win at 2 items. This is even. No one cares about them anyways. And then, I mean, Sona does damage, but Braum's way more useful at 2 items. You have way more damage earlier in the game, but if it feels like you're not doing damage, it's because after 30 minutes you don't. Because the game got thrown and you were down 7k after. And even with like Mortal Reminder, by the way, did you have a Morelos? I'll have to look at that after. But even with like, yeah, so I'll look at the itemization after. But the point being, like, after a certain threshold, yeah, you have no damage, especially if you throw an advantage that you had early. And in this game, because of that, then you lose your damage. Like, at 2 items, this champion this champion can just flash in and just like delete these people. Like
That's true.
allow me to just hentai this and it's over. You know, Gragas has E flash. Gragas has an ultimate ability that does a lot of damage at
Yeah.
runic echoes plus whatever item you go second on Gragas, it does a lot of damage. Malzahar has space aids. Sivir has ricochet, and if she itemizes Essence Reaver into Shiv or Rapid Fire, I didn't like the PD. We'll talk about that. But if she itemizes correctly, she'll do a like absolute blast amount of damage, especially because this guy had no damage this game because he got destroyed in the lane. He was stacking tier. And then Braum,
Mhm.
I mean, Braum just runs in and just like starts the fight by stacking passive stacks on them. So there's not really like at 3 items wins. 3 items wins. 3 items wins. 3 items. This
Okay.
is still no one cares about this. So that's kind of how that plays out. So there was damage, but the fights that got taken were so bad that
We
they're
can fight to our strengths, I think. It's
you
like,
fought without Sivir in one of the most crucial fights in the game, and
Yeah.
Sivir had 6 kills. So that was a little tragic.
That was
Laning, okay, you were getting camped, so nothing
Yeah.
shocking here. You had an advantage in the jungle. Your Gragas against Hecarim, not really shocking.
yeah.
Got killed a bunch in the mid game. You were ahead, and you were winning till you lost. Okay.
should I have picked a different jungler? Because they banned out my 2 best junglers in Rek'Sai
Rek-
and Graves.
Rek'Sai and Gragas are the 2 best junglers in the game right now. Like if you want Freelo, like I was doing an unranked to Diamond 1 stream, and I hit Diamond in 28 games, and I hit 28 straight Gragas games. That's how broken that champion is. Because what you do is you build the Runic Echoes, you have your flash ability, and you just go cave someone's skull into the ground. Like that's how that champion works.
I think
So,
my mistake is
I
not
think-
building Runic Echoes that game then.
And
Wait. Okay, we're gonna look at itemization, and we'll talk about that. But if you're not building runic echoes, then yes, you are potato Gragas, and potato Gragas is not the Gragas that carries and does damage. So if you feel like you don't do damage, that is actually the answer, and we're gonna look at itemization in a second.
Oh.
So
also, just for reference, according to what they were saying earlier, they're just going to keep on banning the Graves and one control mage, whether it's Nibby or someone else.
Dude, I love being counterban. I mean, not counterban, target ban.
target counter, it's all the same. Let me look at damage really quick because this is actually like relatively important. So.
Yeah.
You got camped all game, and then you kind of hentai'd a little bit.
A little
This
bit.
is you just didn't pick good fights, and we saw it already. So this like lines up with that. Didn't pick good fights, but there was a time where you were doing damage. Wow, you're Malzahar. This is good damage.
Oh my god.
Even until the end, like that's a good portion of damage. Sivir damage, lol, and then your Braum against Sona, so doesn't shock me.
One of the things for me, I'm the mid laner. I do terribly in lane. I basically rely on getting out of lane, okay, and doing things in the fights.
That is okay. Sorry, was there a second? Was there more? I wasn't sure.
No, it's just what I was saying. All that damage there was from me doing the fighting like I hopefully should have, but not being far enough, but from being too far behind from in lane to actually finish it off.
Yeah, we could never. What I basically got to the point was we could burst someone down almost to death, but then Sona would just heal them all back up. That was the problem once we got to late game.
Yeah, I can see that. That's a damage like Gangplank's gonna do damage in bursts comparative to Malzahar just doing sustained damage. So this chart it makes sense just by like knowing how the champion mechanics work. So that's like not anything crazy. Item builds. Okay, you died and bought a Doran's blade at 3.5. Okay, that works. Boots, specters, because you have to rush this against him. Black Cleaver. All right, Dead Man's is a useless item. Stop getting it. Get Aranduin's. When they nerfed this item and they took away like its stats, some of its move speed on the passive, like there's a reason people don't build it. The reason people build it now, in competitive and stuff, is completely irrelevant to building it in this game. And the reason it doesn't matter in this game is having the Randuin's attack speed slow to like jump in and like do stuff like that is more valuable
Right.
than having a really fast like tentacle lady.
Right. I gotcha. That makes sense.
Iceborne's fine. Then you lose.
I mostly got that because at that point I was trying to kite for the back line eventually. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah, this should still be a Randuin's because if they're
Yeah.
like just Randuin's then when they come in jungler.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to talk about starting with health potions. So refillable is your friend because it's more cost efficient, and if you run Gragas properly, then you don't need more than the 2 potions. What is your rune setup on Gragas? Hold on, do I have an account that has Gragas runes? Hold on. Where's Drunky?
Learning so much.
Here. Okay. So this is how you this is the correct Gragas page. So you have attack speed reds, you have flat armor yellows. Why flat armor yellows? Because if you take scaling health, I don't think it's a high enough level of play that you'll get away with it. Take armor yellows, take CDR per level blues, take 5 AP quints. You're good to go. Masteries. 12-0-18. Boom. This is like the standard Gragas page, and you should be.
You don't go 12 and cunning? You don't think the runic affinity or whatever? And
what are you gonna do with buffs on Gragas? Like, hit someone, like, and slow them? It's way better to get it's better to get the attack speed to help you clear faster. It's better to get double-edged swords so you just do more damage. Being able to sustain is super important, and being able to increase damage to CC targets where your kit has built-in crowd control.
Yeah.
That's a lot more valuable than. I'm assuming what you do is probably Savagery, Runic Affinity, Merciless, and then Dangerous. Yeah, see, that's no, stop doing that. That's not gonna help you clear it. Like, the thing on Gragas, you want to clear fast, you want to clear efficiently, and then you just want to go and just like hit people,
Mm-hmm.
and
So,
that helps you hit people.
Yeah, no, I understand. You're right. About 3 health potions versus refillable. You would probably generally say, right, that you could probably start refillable on any meta jungler right now.
If you start health potions on anyone, it's only Rengar.
Okay.
And that's because Rengar, you just need the like junglers who need typically junglers who need the 3 health potions to clear aren't in the meta right now. Jarvan, Potato, Rengar, no one plays him.
Yeah.
Then level 6 power spike junglers, a
Nobody plays
Mumu,
Rengar.
stuff like. And if they play
What?
Rengar, it's like
TSM versus Phoenix 1?
yeah.
Rengar?
If you want, yeah, but Anori does a very specific thing. It does not apply here. So Anori takes like 6 armor pen, 3 flat damage, 5 armor, 4 scaling health, 6 flat CDR, 3 scaling CDR. There's a lot of thought process behind his build. But for basic bitch Rengar players in silver who wear the stupid blue skin with the hood, those guys take health potions. Those are the people that we're concerned about. Are those basic Rengar players. So you need to take refillable because, quite frankly, with the correct rune and mastery setup, and I don't want to know what you're running before because I think it'll just like tilt me.
Yeah.
So I don't want to know. But with that setup, it's easy. You take E level 1.
Yeah.
You can literally cancel auto attacks with the E. It's super simple. Bot lane doesn't need a camp until you're in like Challenger series. So bot lane doesn't need a camp. Go start bottom, smite the golems, and go have the time of your life. If you want to 3 camp someone, you go Raptors, you go golems, you then smite the red, and you're level 3, and you just kill someone. So that's the first thing.
Yeah,
Second thing,
like a
obviously,
one-side gank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about runic echoes. This is like bad. So here's the thing, right? Regardless of like this smite, so because the jungle item and you're in competitive, this is fine, but this is bad. Get the Aether Wisp, get the runic echoes, and then you can get the Merc Treads, and then you can get the Visage, which is the correct item by here, and then you'll do damage. This is just like the most this makes you so useless. Like, you don't do damage, so I understand now why you feel like you don't do damage. Like, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then Randuin's is fine. I mean, I guess you needed more armor, so I can see why you would get the Dead Man's. Maybe, like, I don't know, a thorn. Nah, thornmail wouldn't have been that great actually. I think
Frozen
Deadman's
Heart.
is all you can go. Wait, you
Yeah.
guys didn't have a
Lucky
frozen
lose
heart,
CDR.
did you?
No, I don't think we did.
No.
Get a frozen heart then instead. So if you,
Okay.
yeah. And
CD
then you can then you should get a GA last. So all in all, optimize your Gragas setup, and you should be fine. Malzahar. Alright. This is fine. This is fine. You only bought one pink in 15 minutes. Bad. Nope, two pinks. Okay, never mind.
You have been relieved of duty.
This is good. Good. Rylai's, Abyssal.
I shouldn't have gotten Abyssal. They had too much 80, I think.
No, you have to straight up after your Rylai's, get a Morello's.
Yeah.
Get a Morello's because this is too late. Like 41 minutes in, getting Haunting Guys is too late.
Okay.
What happens is you go Morello's, you go Void Staff, and then you've nullified like this weird period where you can't like counterplay their shit, and then you don't have really any pens, so you have to get a Guys. Like that's just super awkward down here. So
Okay.
fix that. And the reason that you had needed to get the Morello is obviously they have nice champions in the game. Alright.
The heal box.
So this is fine. Phantom Dancer is bad. You should get a rapid fire static shiv. Phantom Dancer is potato item. Mortal Reminder, good. We have awareness. That's good. Bad. This is bad. Get an Infinity Edge here. You don't need this. You don't need the Bloodthirster. You need some crits so you can just kill everyone. And the only crit you have right now is your Shiv item. And after Mortal Reminder, you need IE. Then you get a Vamp. You can get a Vamp Step, actually. And sit on the Vamp Step and the bonus.
Yeah, the reason why I went for the BT was because I was getting poked out by the Ezreal and the Sona. And then also, like, if a GP barrel, like, hit me, if I was trash, then I had to, like, lifesteal off of it, so I went for the BT. But I guess the Vamp Step turned into damage is better.
I mean, you need to be able to kill what's in front of you, and killing what's in front of you doesn't seem like a fun time. So you have correct itemization here for the Sivir, but when you don't have any... Go ahead.
Are you supposed to go Greaves or Ionian? Because I've seen both, and because like Greaves seem really strong right now since the attack speed buffs.
Yeah, I mean, you should have, but I wasn't too concerned with CDR because this was on the last patch where it wasn't like as important. But 100%, like every game you play, you carry right now, get the attack speed. This should definitely be a Shiv or a Rapid Fire. If you're scared of doing damage, get a Rapid Fire.
Yeah, I was more scared of like GP dueling me. And
if GP is dueling you, then I don't know what the hell your team or you are doing. If GP is just dueling you, just chilling in like a blue buff area, just 1v1ing you, then I don't know.
It was also like Hecarim like running at me, trying.
Yeah,
like, I was alone against Hecarim a few times.
You go Shiv, Mortal, IE, and then you just kill them all. That's actually way better. PD is only a 6th item.
Yeah, I just started Shiv like the last 2 days.
We just have a random chain vest going on here.
That's after we got dunked on by GP, as I believe.
You're an AD carry, get damage. Because your build's so like suboptimal with this.
Yeah, I was just getting dove on the entire time, so like I had to go some sort of survivability, I feel like. I was literally just getting charged at by like Hecarim and GP. I was getting flashed on in like 2 or 3 fights.
I mean, getting a GA would have been ideal then, and instead of doing like it would have been much better instead of getting like this and then these is to get like the GA. Like you've already messed up your build at 30 minutes by not getting the IE. Because what should have happened is at 36 minutes you have IE, then you still have your Vamp Step, and then by 41 minutes or 42 minutes, 43 minutes you have your GA, and now you have everything you need.
Yeah.
Like the game should be a Sivir stomp. So that's.
And I realized my mistake in the PD and switched to Shiv late game.
Oh, you didn't just buy a different Shiv. They need to tell me when those are switches. I'm gonna tell them that. Let's check support. Sightstone. Okay, we're done. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we got face. So Randuin's before the locket seems very greedy because if your team had the locket earlier, like here's how support works. All right, so step 1, get a Sightstone. Step 2, finish your support item. Step 3, get a locket. That's step 3. We added a step 2.5 because this is like it's like we needed the Randuins at this point, which is correct, but it's not the support. The support needs to have a locket at this point to deal with their damage. That would have actually helped you win the fights because get a locket at 38 minutes. This is already the game's over. The game ended like
32-ish. Yeah.
Yeah, the game like this and this is way more expensive. You would have had your locket like right here. And that would have been great. Also, get Mobies, not Swifties. Swifties are bad again. And then beyond the lock-in, I mean, then you're working on like Frozen Heart, but game ends, feels bad. So obviously there's a lot of itemization fixes that need to be done, but you should be okay if you make those adaptations. Let me check if there's anything abnormal in here. Pretty standard. You didn't really leave top this entire game, though. Like, I don't see any bottom heat at all. I think the furthest you ventured was Dragon. So, if you take a tower with your bot lane either takes this or they don't. Bot lane goes home. The bot lane runs top, and top laner should be bottom. Why? So you can TP top if they decide to defend this tower, because then your jungler can be here as well.
Okay,
But like here's how it works. Like this is the LCS script that like we run. All right. Oh, we got tower bot. Okay, bounce the wave, get a ward here, do dragon, back, go top. Now you go bottom. Are they defending? TP dive. Are they not defending? Soak the wave here. Oh, we got this tower. We'll go get Rift Herald. Okay, now we just run mid.
Okay.
So the simpler version is when you get the bottom tower, just flip your lanes. And then that way you can crush that tower faster, especially with Sivir, who wants to be taking towers. Like, if you have an advantage bottom with like 4 or 5 kills, it doesn't matter if you keep chain killing them. That's not getting you an advantage. It's like today in the second game of TSMP1, actually. Doublelift and Bifrost absolutely were dumpstring.
And they just kept going bottom.
Yeah, they just kept trying to chain kill them instead of like doing anything. I think he actually mentioned this as well, but they just like they just ran bottom. Yeah, I mute those. I don't watch anything with casting or sound. But the point being, like, they didn't do anything. And so if you have an advantage, you have to either crush this tower out by calling your jungler and forcing like a dive where you're strong, or crushing it like by yourself and then just flipping lanes. But you have to get this. When you have an advantage in any lane, any side lane, the jungler needs to be there, and then you need to get the tower so you can like speed up the game, take both tier 1s here, get both neutrals off the map, and then be the first team to crack mid.
Okay.
That's like the basic strategy that is actually applicable to these games.
Okay.
So like, for example, in this game, because we had so much trouble with Hecarim camping top, what do you do when your top lane's really far behind?
Let the guy die.
Okay.
He's a waste of time. He's a lost cause.
Just let me die.
That guy becomes like Ethiopia, and bot lane becomes the United States of America. like that's the difference in how much you care about each lane. You know what I mean? Like that guy wants food. Like you take the last piece of food off Ethiopia's plate and you run it down to America, and you're like, here, you need to eat to be at your best. That's how that works.
Okay.
Always play to where you have an advantage.
I am okay with this. Like, honestly, if you had done that in the game, I would have been fine with that, because I knew I was done. Like, I knew that the moment pretty much the moment I died the second or third time,
You teleported
I was
back in
done.
and they killed you right then.
Yeah, the moment I saw that happen, I was like, I'm done. I should have actually said that. I'm done. Help bot. Just help bot.
Okay.
Check some wards. Decent wards. Decent. This is all just standard shit. If I see anything bad, like I'll bring it up. But like I'm just looking for how many people got spotted on your ward placements to see if they're effective. They all look effective. Tilt analysis.
I have good.
Top lane is a tilter, dog.
Yes, I was so tilted. So tilted.
Tilted, then you got normal again, and then you lost. So maybe you should have stayed tilted while you were winning. This is fine. Alright, jungle was like mega tilted at 5 minutes because life just happened. Then you went normal, that's fine. Mid lane, I think this is deceiving. I think you were mega tilted.
Oh, I was very tilted.
I think there's an issue here. Hold on, do I have a green shade? I do. I got you. Ready? Is this more accurate?
I deal terribly against aggressive laners.
Oh my goodness.
When it comes to aggressive laning, like if you're a weak laner, so first and foremost, like being a weak laner in itself is bad. Like it's not okay. It's not okay to be like if I get out of lane I'll be fine. Like when I was in season 2, I was 1090 elo,
What if you're
and
sneaky Castro?
I was sneaky Jesus. Don't get me started on don't get me started on living with that guy, man. Like, so here's the thing. When I was 1090 elo, I was like a Riven pony in the jungle and a Master Yi player mid. And I was like, if I can just get my 4 items on Yi, it's great. And then I realized one day, dude, if I can't get those items, like, I'm gonna lose.
Okay.
So I just like watched. And this is when I'm like 1090 elo, which is like bronze 1 equivalent, basically. I like went and I watched like streams of like Big Fat Gigi and like mid laners at the time, and like Alex Ich, who was the APE player. I watched how they played the lane, and like you're not stupid, you know? Like you're not a stupid person. Maybe you are, but I don't think you are from our interaction. So I just watched the lane matchup, and then I was like, oh, like, okay. And that's how I improved my laning. So for now, obviously, if you're not a strong laner, you have to play around it. But if you want to get better or be more useful for your team, you can't always be just like playing off the back foot.
Okay.
Like, and that's why when I realized that, I became a jungler. But that's so, AD carry, pretty standard. Jungle, standard. Okay, nothing too crazy here.
Why was I mega tilted at 5 minutes? Was that just like something it does, or like?
It's something. It's calculating like you should be this tilted, basically based on what's happening. So for example, like mid lane, this is like mid lane should only be like at this level. Mid lane's like you know, just like oh my god, my life's over, like up and down the river. Whereas you know you're in that area where it's like my high school girlfriend dumped me. I'm so sad. And then you're like, how did you win? I'm good, boys.
If only I had one.
Yeah.
I think that happened because you saw me die top, and you're like, no.
It's okay. High school girlfriends suck.
Great.
All right,
Yes,
ability
please.
and spellcast delays.
Right,
All this is telling me is the amount of times you press the button and the time between each interval. So if I see anything weird, I will tell you. But for the most part, you Gragas ulted about every 2 minutes. You maybe could have made more plays actually. So Gragas ulting every 2 minutes, like with that Gragas ult, the way I use that thing is like when it's coming off cooldown, I'm looking to do something. Like I'm looking to fight some people and like smack them around. But if you're going like 2 minutes between ultis and stuff, there's like you're not doing anything, and that's what you guys says. We weren't doing anything. Well, you're not looking to make plays with your main initiation, which is Gragas just ulting and splitting up people and catching. Mal's ulti's the same thing. 2.5 minutes between ultis. Like you two need to be more proactive. Like our ults are coming up. Can we do anything? So like look to make plays. You will 100% mess up these plays the first few times. There's no way around that. But it's super important to realize like you have to be proactive and you have to screw up before you become good.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep.
I played 3,000 Jungle Riven games to get out of 1090 elo. So trust me when I say you need time to be good. She was not the best jungler. I maxed W. It was bad. AD carry. Alright, these are all standard. And then Braum is fine. So yeah, the big ones were the alties, and you can even see on Alawi like going sometimes like 330 seconds. What?
5 minutes, 5.5.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
5.5 minutes. What are you? Yeah, it's like you three on like the top half of the map didn't use your ultis very much. Sivir's using ult every 2 minutes, which is like around the cooldown, so it's not too bad. And Braum, like you guys weren't looking to fight around your windows where you had ultis up. You were just like holding on to them. And sure, it's like hard to force, for example, but is it really hard to force with Sivir Gragas? No. You hit R and you E-flash. Like the thing is, you're ahead of them. Any fight's a good fight if you have the same amount of people there. You'll win the fight. And unless of course your carries just die. Like, you know, what happened in the CLGTL game today. But but the point being, like, you have engaged, but you're not using it. And so the way to work around that is, like, be more proactive about this stuff. Spell efficiency. This is just seeing when you use spells. A lot of defensive. Yeah, you're getting camped. Doesn't
Yeah.
shock me. Our jungle ones are always a pain in the ass.
Holy fuck.
I will say I do know that some of the retreat flash. I'm not sure. I mean, for
One,
this match specifically,
two,
but sometimes the
three.
retreat flashes are actually wrong. They're actually engage flashes.
And
They
one of
told me
my
they
engage
fixed
was
it.
Oh, they
retreat.
fixed it. Oh, nice, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, so like seeing these, like I know this. I saw this gank happen. You did not engage on Gragas. You flashed away. I saw this gank.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. Only have 3 flash engages on Gragas.
Mhm.
Be more like just be more ballsy with your engages. I guess is the best way to put it. Like when you have E flash up, just be like, what's the best analogy for this? Just be willing to blow your load really quick, dude. Like don't hold
Yeah.
it for too long. You know what I mean? Like just
Man.
like the terminology that we use on C9 is like when Meteor says rotation up, we'd be like, dude, just like blow your load. And
Yeah.
so like if you have it up, just fucking bust it and you'll be
Mhm.
fine. Mid lane, a lot of defensive ignites. Interesting.
I most of those were when I was getting ganked by a Hecarim and knew I couldn't get out, so I tried to pick something up.
I just setting them on fire.
I mean, like it was they were diving me under tower.
Ah,
Like a
okay.
Russian burn.
I was
figured
just
I
asking,
could-
yeah, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was asking for clarification.
Yeah.
Like, did he just run at you and you're like, take this? Because like that's like the season 2 thing where I would like ignite the Baron to help secure it as the AD carry to make sure my team got it with that 2 damage burn.
God
So
bless.
that's fine.
Superhero
You had to
that
retreat a
nobody
lot.
needs.
That's fine. Ages once. No, I hated that season. This is standard on Sivir. Bot lane seems to be the most standard because they have the biggest advantage. So
Hey.
I noticed like again like there's a lack of like flash engages from like anyone. There's like 2. There's like 3. You know, there's like 5 flash engages and like Sivir engages twice. But I don't think Sivir flashing and ulting is exactly relevant.
Woo!
So you know what I mean? Like you guys have to look for more proactive plays here. Beyond that, damage dealt 2 champions. And this is the damage you dealt in the top lane. Pretty standard. It's jungle. It's fine. Mid lane. Yeah, you did a little bit of damage later on, but yeah, you couldn't really get to him, which is fine. So you had to do all your damage to front line. And then 80 carry. Yeah, this looks like a fun front line to hit.
Okay.
If you had correct itemization, you would have blasted them.
Yeah, there was one fight where they got really low, and I realized that I built wrong.
You had no damage.
Yeah.
You had the Cinder Hulk. I'm just messing with you. I build tank Gragas in competitive sometimes. It's fine.
A few
Nah,
of those,
yeah. But I should have gone Runic Echoes.
Until you're playing against players like in Challenger, build the damage jungle items. Like even on Rek'Sai, just build like the Titanic.
Just
Like,
go-
do what Nori did today. Like rush the Titanic if you're snowballing. But like what most Rek'Sai's do is
What
Yeah,
did Nori? Wait, what did he build for his jungle enchantment? Was it Warriors
no,
or
it's Cinder Hulk because you're like on
he just
Rek'Sai.
rushed Titanic?
No, on Rek'Sai, rush the Tiamat. You're not rushing Titanic. You're not gonna have 8 kills like a Nori.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you will. And if you do, rush it. But generally speaking, and support damage, no one cares.
So
Damage.
you generally go Cinderhulk on Rek'Sai?
You could always go Cinder Hulk. Always go Cinder Hulk on Rek'Sai.
Okay.
But rush the Tiamat so you have like
Yeah.
some damage.
Mhm.
Like first back, get the Tiamat.
Mhm.
Damage taken.
Nice.
That makes sense. I took a lot of damage. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Well, this just.
I just get
It's interesting that Israel actually did the most damage to you, so he was cleaning up these fights. Yeah, if you had more damage, you would have destroyed him. Because all this tells me is like, if these 2 are doing the most damage to you late, one of 2 things is happening. Either your whole team is dying and they're cleaning the fight, or you're just getting hit by stuff that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
So
I know
that needs
towards the end, I was basically using my ult to ult Hecarim after he came in, so
Yeah.
so hopefully Sivir could damage because I
Alright.
couldn't get to anyone else.
Alright, these are like, I'm not sure how I feel about using these stats. I don't think they're that useful as it is. So
You
That's-
don't like seeing how many times Swain presses are?
Like it's just like such a useless thing. Like I understand why it's there, and like initially I thought it was like okay. Then I looked at it and I was like, this doesn't help. It's just like here, let me show you. 31 non-lethal ultimates near you. Wow, Swain ulted 20 times. This does not mean you did a good job. You know? So, beyond that, though, everything else is extremely useful. So, are there any final questions, comments, etc. that you have before I go play Xbox?
Okay, I actually have one. What would you what would you suggest as a good rune page for Alawi?
Well, let's go to Pro Builds. Type in my boy Flaxish.
Wait, can you actually
I
type in
might have to
names and
update
it works?
Yeah, of course.
If
Let's
you
go to
type in
Alawi.
champion names.
Wait.
What the fuck? It doesn't work on mine. Fucking bugged as hell.
It does Pro Builds just hates you.
See what I'm doing right now? I'm searching this stuff. This is all you need to do as well
Okay.
if you ever need to know stuff. Like Flaxus doesn't have it. So who do I trust? I don't trust you. I don't trust you.
Just dominate.
Yeah,
boy.
Betsy's page is actually correct. What was he laning against? Betsy was against Gangplank. Or no, he was on the team. He was laning against
Jace.
boy Jace. So yeah, okay. So tag damage reds is fine. Scaling health is fine. CDR is fine, and armor cleanse. The way this would change against MR is these become MR,
Right.
and then these can stay as health, and then you can keep this exact setup basically, or you can run like a cooldown rune here if you want to do it against AP. But this
Why the armor quince?
he's laning against Jace.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
He
That
took
makes sense.
Warlords because he wants to just fight him, but if you want to be safe, just do a grasp setup. Betsy's like really fucking good at what he does though, so that's why like he's building this because he thinks he'll just outplay him. But don't do that.
Right.
That's really bad.
That makes sense. Okay.
So that's that.
I never considered the CDR runes. That's actually I don't need to do that.
Let me show you. So this is my account that I just play and like troll on. My rune pages. Tell me what you notice. Alright, ready?
Either one fucking.
Magic resist. Then we have CDR per level. CDR.
Mhm.
A little bit of magic resist and more CDR. Attack speed. No CDR on AD carry page because I'm an AD carry. Evelyn, don't need it. Then you go to like junglers. CDR. 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 CDR.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Scaling CDR. Scaling
Wait, you take
CDR.
CDR and
Flat
Rek'Sai?
CDR. More scaling CDR. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you do flat.
Okay.
Wait, this
I
account's
get
in the gutter, dude. This account's like Diamond 50 LP, like 50% win rate. I just troll, but
I think I'm seeing the picture. Get CDR runes. Yes.
yes, they're good for you. This is the account that you play with cute girls on. That's like the game plan on this account. 'Cause the thing is, like Riot unlocks your accounts in LCS. This is my unlock
Yeah.
account with all the skins, so I always.
Oh.
It's brilliant.
So,
It ruined my win rate, but it's brilliant, and that is what's important. All right.
So-
do we have any other questions?
Sorry, did you have one?
No, you can go ahead first.
Okay. So I haven't done much team play. I've done mostly solo queue.
Okay.
So I play mostly control mages, and I know what their job is in solo queue. Is it the same? Do control mages have the same job in like organized teams as they do in solo queue?
What do you think their job is?
Generally speaking, I've been playing them to prevent the other team from doing anything.
You just wave clear, and then in team fights you have good position.
Whether it's wave clear or crowd control.
Yeah, generally. I
Okay.
mean, it doesn't change in competitive. Clear waves, and make sure you don't die in team fights, and use your abilities and your area of effect damage spells in crowd control to, control fights and have good team fighting.
Okay.
So nothing changes. It's just like the difference in mid and competitive is okay. Here's mid lane in like a standard game of solo queue. Here's bot lane.
Just run it down mid.
Here's top lane. Right? Now here's mid lane in competitive.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Everyone shows up mid, so you have to get used to knowing when you can shove waves out, when you can't shove waves out,
And
things
that's
like that.
and that's something I could just look at pro play, for example, and just watch and see when they come mid.
I mean, you can watch solo queue because like even challenger solo queue, like at this level of play, the only thing you need to watch is like challenger solo queue.
Okay.
Like that's enough game sense. Like anything in actual like pro play is like irrelevant
Okay.
because there's so many fundamentals to build, you know?
Yeah.
So making sure you watch them and seeing like why they're staying on a wave or why they're backing off, you should always be asking yourself like, did he see the jungler? And spoiler, if the jungler appears on the minimap, I guarantee they looked at the minimap. So that's never going to be a question. But is he backing off because the jungler's here? Is he staying? Like why? And that's what you have to figure out and like self-improve. Because if you can't self-improve,
Right.
then you're limited as a player.
Okay. I understand.
So let's talk about refillable potion in 3 pots. Now, the way I had been convincing myself, right? Because I realized I was one of the only junglers I knew doing 3 pots. But the way I convinced myself that like I should do this or continue to do it is like I like to farm up for a really long time from like the moment I start at like level 1 without having to back often. And I feel like when I go refillable, maybe it's because I didn't have optimal runes, but I feel like I would go refillable and not be able to clear like 4 to 6 of my jungle camps and still have enough HP to gank afterwards.
That's because you're not clearing properly. That's a clearing problem.
Okay.
Like I can clear on Lee Sin with 1 health potion and come out full, for example. So there's something you're doing wrong in runes, masteries, or your actual clearing. Like do you kite camps or do you?
Yeah.
Okay, because like I'll talk you through my jungle clear, and this is what goes through in the game. But this is like the thought process of when I'm jungling. Like okay, I'm playing Gragas. I'm
Mhm.
gonna get the golems. Okay, I have four stacks, so I'm gonna auto this twice. Now I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna cancel his E. I'm gonna Q. I'm gonna auto twice. I'm gonna back up. My cooldowns are back. I'm gonna stun him. I'm gonna auto twice. My E comes up. Now I'm gonna Q him. I'm gonna smite. Okay, I'm gone. Like that's the thought process on clearing, and I haven't ticked the potion yet. Then I go and I skip raptors, and I go to wolves. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna smite the wolves, and like I'm gonna clear this as fast as possible, so my raptor buff stays on for blue. Oh, I have all 3 abilities on Gragas now. I'm going to clear this as fast as I can. Then I'm going to go do Scuttle Crab, and I've come out using 1 charge of my health potion, and I have 80% health. And so that literally comes down to like playing around in the jungle, like the smite from the golems is like super valuable early, and B, like making sure you know how to clear camps. That sounds dumb, but like
No, it's not. It
it's
makes a
like on
huge difference.
Evelyn, for example, like
Yeah.
you can do 3 potions. Most people will do 3 potions. I'll still take refillable. I know Moon will take refillable. I know Dardoch takes refillable. Like all of us take refillable.
hmm
So, and that's because the way we clear camps is we kite them. So if you need to watch, like, go watch, for example, like when they do those stupid tests, go watch like Korean jungle Nidalee clear patch 6 point, like whatever, and just watch what they're doing, and like you'll see like the animations get canceled. They're moving around to make sure that they take reduced damage, and so if you ever have to take 3 pots, it should really only be on Rengar. Like that's kind of what you take away from it, and refillable is like super important because it's cost efficient. Because like if you look at your itemization, 4 pots, 5. Like yeah, you got 5 potions, which like isn't the big deal. But quite frankly, like you never had all 6 slots full, and you could have always just had your refillable sitting there. You would have had charges at like multiple points in the game. You would have had refillable here. You would have had refillable here. You would have lost refillable here. I've lost track, but you would have had refillable for like 30 minutes, and it would have been nice to just have it. So that's why refillable is better. It's way more cost effective.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions, guys, or are we good?
Are we going over the second game, or did I miss that in the process of getting an install?
No. We're only going over 1 game today.
Right.
Okay.
So it was. I looked at both games, and typically because like we've been talking now for like an hour and 10 minutes, so typically the human attention span is 17 minutes. I'd like to think I make it fun, and we can go an hour, and we don't all want to just like slit our wrists. So that's like my goal. But anything beyond like an hour to an hour and a half is generally a waste of time because you're just gonna sit here and be like, shut up, dude. Like, stop talking, please. And that's like what's going to happen after a certain amount of time. So this game was important because early on there was a huge advantage. It wasn't capitalized on. There were clear mistakes that were made, not only like in terms of team play, but then there were also like poor itemization choices, poor rune setups. So there was a lot of information from this game, and that's why we went over this one instead of the other one. The other one was just kind of like life happened.
Yeah.
It was a bad life.
Yeah,
That was not a life you want to live.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, are we good?
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. That sounds that.
All
That
right.
helped.
Hope I kept it entertaining. I hope that you learned
totally.
something. If there's feedback, leave it with the Vantage staff guys, and they'll tell me how bad I am at my job, which is fine. But beyond that, we'll have another one of these soon, and hopefully, I'll see some good progress by then. So I'm out then, guys. Have a good night.
Okay.
All right. Go. Peace.